we have some new neighbors upstairs, and I'm eager to make their acquaintance and meet them. Apparently, some of them play drums and follow the prescribed notion of, having a good job and being productive, doing something useful in the world, which I think is a positive thing. I think it's a positive thing more than I used to. I don't think I was necessarily wrong before. I just had a different set of preferences and values. And so my thoughts about sort of going the traditional route of getting a job, finishing high school, going to college, graduating, getting a job, finding someone, getting married, settling down, buying a house, all that stuff, was definitely informed by my values at the time, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. So anyway, I'm kind of curious to meet those people and see maybe what we have some in common. And I do think that we've maybe lost a little something in terms of being able to connect with people that live in our immediate vicinity. And I don't know if that has to do with connectedness or the fact that we can access people with similar belief systems across the span of space through the internet. But I think there has been something lost of getting to know your neighbors who live on your street and in your immediate vicinity. And that's one thing I've found about moving up here to Michigan, actually, is that, or at least this part of Michigan, obviously it's a big state and lots of variations of, like cultural expression in different parts of the state, like a lot of states. But moving to this part of the country and of this state, the climate here is so inhospitable during the winters that I think it does require some sort of like constitution, some willingness to overlook or work through maybe wrongs that have been done to you or disagreements you may have with your neighbor. I feel like if you're in the tropics and somebody offends you, you can kind of just go, fuck off, and go pick a banana over here rather than where you were before. So up here, there's a chance that if you get lost walking out your front door in a snowstorm, you might not be able to make it back to your front door. So there is kind of a sense of like if you're not getting along with your buddies next door, you may have a little bit of a harder time surviving. Of course, we have all the modern conveniences and everything up here, but there is some some sense of the brutality of nature here that I think is embedded a little more in the culture here than a lot of other places I've been in the United States or Canada for that matter. I think the places, pardon me, the places that I've been in Canada haven't even been as far north as where I live in Michigan now. So I find that brotherliness and friendliness, neighborliness, a little bit of that can go a long way in establishing just a better life up here. And I do feel, despite all of my talk about individualism and non conformity, I do feel like my default setting is friendliness and positivity, upbeatness, magnanimity. So I'm curious to see how putting that sort of practical aspect of myself to use in the way that can benefit me and my loved ones. And I do find myself to some degree at odds with the culture here. It's so distinct from sort of mainstream American culture. I mean, there is some sort of like, general political identity up here, but I think that it's distinct enough that it's hard for me as kind of like not northern but middle America kind of person to assimilate into the culture here. But one thing I do have going for me is this upbeatness and general positivity and wanting to get along with my neighbors and my brothers, and that has diminished some for me in the last couple of years, just my use of it. So maybe it will require some kind of brushing up on that skill set to get across this really pretty deeply ingrained and almost my default setting of my personality. So I'm curious to start putting that back to use as I try to sort of hunker down and really like establish myself in this place that I am now calling home, and the wild and basically untamed north on the shores of Gitchigumi. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Have a good time.